What is up, Windrazor Nation? Welcome back to episode 2 of our Build and Battle series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got a ton of support on the first episode, so I'm super fucking excited. But yeah, let's just head straight into week 2 here. After the week 1 dub, heading strong into week 2. And I'm just gonna play this out now. If I sound a little dead, a little tired, I'm feeling a little bit fucking sick today, so we're pushing through. But I'm excited to do this. So, all right, our week 2 opponent is the coach of Haunter Milan and Glimpse, and he's rocking the team for anybody that's just listening or anything like that. I'm gonna put timestamps and stuff. Figured out a few things from my first episode, and gonna condense some things, put some timestamps, so a little bit easier to navigate. Got some really good advice from people watching, and I appreciate your guys' input. So, yeah, again, let's just jump right in. For the viewers out there, I already said my team. It is going to change next week, so I'll put it up. But this week's opponent is bringing their Mega Alakazam. We have Terra Ogerpon Cornerstone, Terra Raikou, Tapu Lele, Infernape, Corviknight, Swampert, Comfey, Terra Sableye, Arbok, and Kricketune. So more of like an offensive size spam team here. So the first thing I'm doing, as you guys can see, offensively looking into this, dude, what the fuck is a Charizard swap in, right? That's immediately the first thing I looked at. Our speed tier is great. At 100, he does have 4 Pokemon faster than us and a speed tire. However, Zard's speed tier just looks great in the fact of 2 of those Pokemon are speed locked. In the fact that they have to use a setup move in order to do it. They can't instantly raise their speed. And I believe Sam probably gets agility. I don't fucking remember. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking run that. But yeah, so that's really, really good. So only really 2 Pokemon that'll immediately outspeed us is Scarfed. But yeah, first time looking at it, a kind of a funny set here. Flare Blitz blows everything the fuck up, right? Swampert's the only real swap-in on this entire team. Everything else takes 8 bajillion. So, looking at it, went through a few different sets. I originally had a DD on there, and then I went to Swords Dance with Scale Shot, and then finally I decided to go, you know what, an offensive game plan with Zard picking up 2, 3, 4 kills is kind of the area I wanted to go so that I can clean up afterwards. So yeah, biggest thing was this pert, right? I wanted to be able to weaken the pert and be able to sweep or slash start a mini sweep with Charizard here. So as you guys can see, pretty basic set. Not EV to like crazy today, mostly just this is what's cool. Roost is here to minimize Flare Blitz damage, and the reason you might think, oh, your Belly Drum, why are you not like Fire Punch or anything like that? Flare Blitz is just so that I can get immediate damage off and I don't have to Belly Drum. I can use Zard a little bit more freely in the game and not just as a setup dependent mon. Flare Blitz Oko's Lele, Flare Blitz Oko's Sam, Flare Blitz Oko's Corv, even defensively. So that's really what we were looking at there. But yeah, gonna show you guys some Gauks. If we go over to our Swampert right here, or I mean our Charizard, and put their Swampert in. Max defense, if we put in the +6 from Belly Drum, we're doing 92 to 109 with 3 hits, which is what we're looking for. We just need a little bit of chip on Pert. I'm going to talk about what's next. I meant to move this right here. So if you guys kind of look, if we take 2 layers of spikes, which is what our plan was, it's guaranteed to Oko with 3 hits. So we obviously have to hit 3 hits, but the game plan there was to set it up, possibly get us behind screens, or early in the game, knocking this thing out, like freeze up a ton of my Pokemon. So yeah, was the thought behind Zard. Belly Drum just absolutely puts a big scare onto Glimpse, and when we skill shot would be +1, you'll be forced to go something to outspeed us, right? So that was the thought process behind there. Pretty basic, but really, really, really cool. If we go back here, the second thing I'm looking at is, okay, how am I going to set this Zard up? I went through a lot of different options, and I actually ended up putting this Pokemon on last. He was a last second addition, but I think it's important to talk about him second because he is what initiates our offense. So we come over, a little bit of a spoiler alert, but the last week for Ogerpon sadly did get dropped. I'm sorry, Koinu. But this is the Pokemon that initiated my offense. Originally it was Gliscor. We were a little bit more balanced, but I decided to go, at the end of the day, a little bit more offensive towards Glimpse's matchup. Since his team is super offensive, I didn't really have great swap-ins to Mega Zam, stuff like that. So I wanted to definitely be a little bit more. So this Ogerpon just in general did great. It can't break Corv at all, but it can't do that in a lot of areas. But this set is definitely super cool. I was going back and forth on how to get Zard in, and Corv had to come to this matchup, and I was like, dude, every time Corv comes in, Charizard just eats, right? Because he has no swap in, Swampert has to swap in, and we can really start initiate our sweep off of that. So that is where this awesome Ogerpon was bred to do. We got Cudgel. This is it was always meant to Terra in this game. As you can see, we have no Aloe, but this thing outspeeds absolutely everything on the team with the speed boost except for Raikou. So that's pretty awesome. And we can pretty freely press Cudgel into absolutely every single Pokemon. Even Infernape takes like 8 bajillion. I just want to see the set. I don't know if I clicked off. We go to Infernape if he's Choice Scarfed. Like, we're doing 30% without Bing Terra. With Bing Terra, we have a chance at 2-ko it. So he's not taking Cudgel as well. So, but the point was, this is my lead, right? Looking at his team, he doesn't lead into it, regardless of what he leads. If we see Raikou there and he leads Raikou can't hit us for any kind of super effective damage unless he's Terra Blast or Signal Beam, in which I'm not that scared of. And if he is one of those, he's more than likely probably not Scarfed. So we Terra and U-turn on it, or honestly probably just Terra and Cudgel, as it does a shit ton of damage and he can't OHKO me. The point is to bait Corv in, which Corv should be coming in every time because I can't do much to him. Hopefully on a Swampert lead, we get a layer of spikes up as he comes in. We taunt him. We set up another layer of spikes as he U-turns or Brave Birds, proccing our eject button, allowing us to get into Zard. And exactly what we said originally was, how many spike damage do we need on Pert for him to die? Yes, sir. We needed him to have exactly 2 layers of spikes, which we have up, and Zard in on Corv, which he can't stay with a free belly drum. So, and then if Corv ever decides to attack us, we get to roost it off as well. So these two working hand in hand, initiating each other, really, really, really good. Ogerpon just in general initiating Zard so freely. If he ever goes ape onto me and I U-turn, I can pretty freely go Zard as he can't beat me 1v1. All right. So looking at that, I have my main offense already in here, and I decided to look at what I'm doing to stop him. So the biggest scare on my team were these first two. Mega Zam and Ogerpon Cornerstone absolutely obliterate my team. I don't have much answers to. So my Steel type, Metagross, he's here again. More defensive than he was last time. We're not going Choice Banded. But this set's pretty basic. We're AV, Heavy Slam Earthquake, knockoff Steel Roller. This set is mainly just to pivot through Zam and Lele. Heavy Slam, OHKOs Lele easily, does a shitload of damage to Cornerstone, and can OHKO Zam if he was the HP spread, if he went like max special attack, enough speed to outspeed Valiant, and then whatever, he had about 136 HP left, he could have invested. So if he decided to do that, my Heavy Slam did always kill him, and then if he added more, Steel Roller could also kill if I'm in terrain. Steel Roller was to get rid of that terrain, just to make Zam a little bit weaker, not give him expanding forces that were boosted and stuff like that. And then AV is to take any type of move from both Lele and Zam. They both get Shadow Ball, but it's bouncing off of Metagross here, so eating it pretty decently well. And what's really cool about our Metagross too is being a Steel Psychic. Usually half the time Still, like, Psychic's not a great typing to add on to shit, especially in this generation, making yourself weak to knock and all that. But this actually worked in our favor, as Focus Blast was not good for them. They're not wanting to Focus Blast me, as I'm not weak to it. So pretty good thing for Metagross here. It's pretty basic. Knockoff was to get rid of Corviknight's item. We're not Thunder Punch to do damage to Corv, but that's not the issue. I need Corv, funnily enough, alive, right? We're trying to leave Corv alive to initiate Charizard. Heavy Slam and Steel Roller, I just explained. Earthquake to do high damaging moves to Raikou, as I am AV, and I can use Metagross against it if it is there as well. And Earthquake is just a good neutral move into pretty much all of his team. So yeah, I did originally have Grass Knot over Steel Roller, but decided Steel Roller was better. And then Clear Body so that we don't get our stats dropped. Shadow Ball, obviously, and no real usage for Light Metal there. But all right, going after that, we have Ryzen Bag Grimmsnarl, because this guy's here to do one thing, and it's to set up prankster screens. So literally the most basic Grimmsnarl set here. Again, we're Light Clay, Reflect Light Screen, here to initiate our offense of Charizard and help Ogerpon initiate even better. We're Spirit Break. We're just enough attack to Tuco Mega Zam, do a shitload to Ape and Tapu Lele. There's a point there. As you can see, I can't hit Corv, but I'm going to keep reinitiating it. Corv needs to be left alive. We want him to come in. If he defogs our screens away, we can also taunt him, which was the point as well for that. So we set screens, Corv comes in, we can still taunt in Prankster because he's off the ground, and terrain does not affect Corv, so we can still taunt him. Anybody else we couldn't taunt if terrain was up, just because it is a Prankster move, but taunt is specifically for Corv, and then if need be against stuff like Pert and Zam/Ogerpon if they're trying to set up late game. We just taunt them and set up our screens. So yeah, pretty basic set there. So pretty Spadaf to help again with Zam, and be a Psychic swap in if need be, if Lele's locked. All right, so our second to last one here is Terapagos. I am fucking loving this thing, man. This is like, you'll hear me coin this term a lot, this is your get out of jail free card, and I genuinely feel this way about this Pokemon. This Pokemon's here he doesn't have like a super specific role, but he just fits so well. He's our get out of free jail card. Terra Starstorm does insane amounts of damage to everything not named Corviknight, and then Flamethrower with this special attack to max HP has a chance to 3-KO it. So, and then I think depending on what he is, I can even 2-KO, but wasn't necessary there. Didn't really care about the damage against Corv. If it wants to come in, thank you. I appreciate it. Give me a little chip. So Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards for Swampert to keep Charizard healthy. Energy Ball to be able to hit Swampert for super effective damage and super put it in range of Zard was the point there if he ever swapped in. Energy Ball is also very good for Ogerpon Cornerstone for when he Terras. We do big damage to that. And then Terra Starstorm again is pretty much what we're spamming in this game, that and Rapid Spin. And I think my 24 speed is so that I outspeed Lele after Rapid Spin. I didn't want to invest too much. I wanted the defensive capabilities more, because I could have outsped Ogerpon was kind of what I was like looking at possibly, but decided that it was much better to be able to take offensive hits rather than outspeed at that point. Really no point into putting all of that in there, but pretty basic, not much to talk about. This thing is here to just be a Gloomon, right? So we're just using this thing in the mid game, really open up, weaken everything. If we need to take a hit from like Infernape or like Cornerstone or something like that, we can stay in and do a really big damage hit and then go out to one of our things. All right, and the very last mon, this and Ogerpon went back and forth a lot, but I wanted another cleaner that didn't necessarily lose to Corv, because if you can see right now, Charizard's pretty much our main offense and breaker, with Ogerpon being our cleaner, but Ogerpon is very clearly walled by Corviknight and Infernape if it's not low at this point. Like, let's see, he sacks 3 Mons to Charizard to get it dead. Our cleaners at this point is we still very, very lack against Infernape, and I didn't want to bring Gliscor because, like I said, I opted to go a more offensive route. Gliscor was on here for a while. Spadef Gliscor looked great. Or actually, no, it wasn't Spadef. It was Fizdef Gliscor looked really, really good. But Ogerpon did its job slightly better in initiating Charizard. So, yeah. Our last mon is our Tomb Raider, our Iron Valiant. Absolutely fucking loving this mon. This mon was just meant to clean a late game. That's what Valiant does best, and that's what he does here. Combining Spirit Break close combat, he has absolutely no swap in. Nothing on this team swaps into Spirit Break close combat, other than Fizdef Corv, but it still takes a shitload. And we can Encore Corv if Corv ever gets low and he has to roost on us. Encoring it into that if we make an aggressive swap. If we're under screens, we can Encore stuff. This just kind of gives us a lot of leeway against stuff like Zam for setup, Lele, Ape, Corviknight, even Cornerstone. We can lock them in with Encore because we're faster. This entire team, 1 point faster than Raikou. So, pretty honestly amazing. Like, don't play bad kind of Pokemon, right? So, get initiative off of that, and then we're SD because we can easily kill everything if we have just one SD up, and then Spirit Break close combat. Mostly here to just clean up the game, attack late. So that's why he's in the last slot. Not a lot to it. So not like a huge explanation here. For our first one, pretty basic. But yeah, here's the team. So look at it again. Going over the game plan one more time. In conclusion, using Zard to break early to mid game, absolutely just decimating this. Even if we can get a cheeky sweep off, just blow him up. Ogerpon initiates Charizard amazingly well. Metagross to help stamp his offense, help swap into certain things. Grimmsnarl to initiate again. This top 3 make things a lot easier, things smoother. Terapagos to glue everything together, fill in those holes. And Valiant to help clean late game if Ogerpon can't do it. So kind of a bit of our insurance policy down here. Basic screens. And I'm excited to show you guys this battle. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you in 2 seconds. Alright, so we're back and we have the battle. So, initially looking at it, he brought pretty much all the mons I thought he was, except for that second mon right there. So, Mega Alakazam didn't end up being brought, which I was really scared of. But Corv is here like we thought. Swampert's also here, and then the Infernape is super scary as well. And I thought that would be here. Cornerstone also being scary. Lele, not as much. I think he probably could have gone with Zam in that place. And then Comfey I do get, because terrain isn't up forever. This gives good insurance against Valiant and like slight things. Fairy's just like slightly good in me. Completely walled by Metagross though, especially since it's not Terra. So definitely just interesting that my opponent brought it. So if we look at this team, the first thing I did, if we look, I want to show you guys too. He only brought 1 Terramon, which is Ogerpon, so I don't really have to worry about it. So did I. Our only 2 mons are Ogerpon, so nothing's changing type here. So yeah, pretty evident with that. So I make a Bozo play first overall. I completely got into my own head this week, overthinking it, and I was terrified of this Infernape, right? I was like, oh, if he's lead Ape, that's really scary, but genuinely looking at it, I outspeed it no matter what with Ogerpon when I Terra, and I can just U-turn into, I can even U-turn straight into Zard and not lose a whole lot, Roost after that, and see what he does. So, a little bit mad at myself. This entire Ogerpon set, as we explained to you guys, was so that we could lead it, right? I don't end up doing that. Let's start the game again with the fucking music. So he leads he leads Pert, and I'm honestly kicking myself in the ass at this point because I'm like, all right, come on, man. Ogerpon would have worked perfectly, and it would have been so smooth, but I got to work with what I'm given here. So at this point, I just taunt him, right? Like, I can't let rocks go up right now. I don't want Terapagos in, and there's no reason not to press it. Terrain's not up. I lose nothing by pressing taunt here. So turn 1, I taunt him as he does go for the stealth rocks. After this, I set up light screen as he flip turns out. So I don't set up reflect here because I don't want Lele coming in. Because if I set up reflect, he flip turns and go straight Lele. I don't have my light screen up. I don't necessarily need it as I can go Metagross anyways, but I would much rather bait something in like aka Corv, even Cornerstone, have him come in early, and I would love that. I would just set reflect up at that point and let him do whatever the heck he wants to do. If he wants to Terra and SD or Ivy Cudgel me, then he can go for that. And then slightly Ape, because I can also scout and see what Ape is, and I won't die to absolutely anything. So I set up light screen here just to keep Lele out, which I think is a good play. He goes straight into Infernape, so at this point I'm thinking, okay, Ape's probably physical. I'm just going to set up my reflect and see what he goes for. If he gunk shots me here, it'll do a decent chunk, but I won't die. And I get to scout to see what he is. He ends up doubling back into Swampert. I taunt completely free here. I'm not pressing anything other than taunt. I can't let rocks go up. And regardless of him attacking, it's not going to do that much. And I can play off of that. So taunt him. He does EQ, which is a good play. Does 25, really nothing. This is pivotal point in the game. As you guys can see, I didn't lead correctly, so my whole plan of getting my 2 spike chip on Pert is a little bit annoying now because Ogerpon getting in is really hard as we are eject button, so we can't swap in straight onto something, even with screens up, especially on this. This is what was scary, right? Because this is the Pokemon we want to swap in on. But we're eject button, so that's not what we want to do right now. So him staying in and allowing me to Spirit Break him, that's the same equivalent as getting 2 spikes off. So I was very happy on that. I trade HP on Grimmsnarl for it. Definitely very worth it in my head. So yeah, he flip turns, and he goes straight into Lele. At this point, I'm low enough, even with light screen, he just wants to kill me. I've been staying in for 5 turns, so I'm pretty confident, regardless of what he presses. He's just either going to Moonblast into me or possibly sub, slash Calm Mind. But in my head, there's no real other play other than going Metagross here. I have screens up and I'm AV. I'm going to take nothing. He does just opt to Moonblast. I take 7. I actually never looked at this. This is funny. We could do this together. I never actually looked at what that damage was in game because I didn't care. Wonder if he was locked. Was he Choice Specs? No, he wasn't Choice Specs. Okay. It's probably just like Choice Scarf. Yeah, and then got like a complete max roll on my Metagross. Oh. I mean, all the damage is pretty much the same. It's funny, but he got like the 29 damage roll. So, not a big deal. Corv comes in. I just opt to Steel Roller here. It does a shitload of damage to anything coming in. Looking back at this play, I wish I would have just knocked. Getting rid of the leftovers on Corv and or the item on Pert, like Rindo or whatever the heck that was, would have been a lot better. And it also covered like an aggressive swap into Ape. I wasn't super worried about that because Steel Roller did a shitload to Ape, but like it was pretty telegraphed he was gonna go Corv here. So getting rid of the item would have been a lot better. And I didn't need the Psychic Terrain gone. Funnily enough, he needed it gone for Comfey, but it doesn't really matter. I Steel Roller here. It does show that Corviknight is Rocky Helmet, so I do more damage to myself than the Lele does to me, and this is when I swap in hard into Corviknight. I'm expecting him at least to defog at this point, which is super annoying, but it isn't the end of the world. I swap into Ogerpon as well because I have the chip I already need, so that to cover U-turn, Because in my head, I'm thinking he either defogs or U-turns at this point. He opts to go for an Iron Defense. He's a more quote-unquote offensive set. He's Rocky Helmet, but he's Iron Defense Body Press to pressure me more, I suppose. I'm going to be completely honest. Don't super understand the bring by my opponent. Just because, like, Zard breaks through IDEF, and I have, like, extremely fast taunt and encore mons. So not exactly sure why it's IDEF, especially, like, even my steel type is not weak to it, but regardless, he does IDEF here. In my head, at this point, after seeing IDEF, I literally just do the same thing. I'm like, okay, you're letting my screen stay up. I only have a screen and light turn, but the big thing is reflect, because you're obviously body press. I'm like, I don't know if you're a U-turn or what your other moves are. If you're like defog, body press, IDEF, roost, who knows? I don't fucking know. But I'm like looking at it and I'm like, he's probably defog on Comfey. If this isn't, so regardless, I got a little bit of chip on him. I don't want him to set up more because that really hurts Zard. Easiest taunt of my life, right? We're double taunters. So I get to go to the taunt. He body presses me here, which does 31, which is pretty much nothing. The eject button gets to go Zard. And in this play, right? So this is the freest belly drum of life, and I have no reason to mega right now. I don't know what his other two moves are. I have reflect up and I resist body press. Zard's decently bulky. I do gain a lot of bulk on mega, but I resist the body press, so there's absolutely no reason for me to mega right now. So that's exactly what I do. I belly drum. Don't mega. He does Brave Bird, which does 24. I get to see that he's just max Fizz Def. He has no offensive stats in him. Did a lot. His last move is probably obviously Roost, which is absolutely fine for me. This play helps me a ton because now I can Roost up. All I have to do now is Mega and Roost, and then I can kill him right after, depending on what he does. So, exactly what I do. He hard swaps into Pert, which I have my damage off. He makes a mid-ground play. I get to Roost, which is absolutely amazing for me. Not going to stay too much here. I just get to skill shot. I need 3 to kill. He never kills me back with anything. Unless he crits. I do lose, like, defensive, like, Swampert. He's def. I'm -1. Okay, Earthquake does kill. So, he can kill me if I don't get it, but at this point, I've set the game up. I have to do it, right? Like, obviously, skill shot can miss, or I can hit too, but that's the risk with skill shot. I have to do it. Luckily, I do land, and I hit my 3. So Zard is my GOAT. He goes down, and I'm looking like to be in a really good position. He goes into Comfey at this point, and then this is when I make the second boneheaded decision, I feel like, in my game. I see Comfey, and I just want to delete it for Valiant. I'm like, okay, if I can just absolutely delete this right now, that would be amazing. And I wasn't exactly sure, too, why he went into this. Mainly, I guess, just to try and get a roll so that I kill myself with Blitz. He hasn't seen Blitz yet, though, so I guess he's maybe just going for a little bit of damage. So that I have to press skill shot against Cornerstone anyways. But, yeah, I wasn't exactly sure why he went this. I should have just roosted. No reason not to roost, right? I was like, okay, he might just be trying to toxic or scout what move I am, but in my head, I'm like, okay, I just get to Flare Blitz kill this. It's not a big deal. But he does do that. Does 36. If I roost there, I get to take another kill with me. So Lele comes out. To be fair, I have to roost spam. Look back, it's not that big of a deal, but the objectively right play was probably to roost. But not the end of the world. Zard gets a crispy 3-for-1. He goes Lele here. At this point, I don't care. I thought he might double into Ogerpon to try and keep Lele because he's got a sturdy, right? And then I'll kill myself with the damage. But I completely understand him not doing that with Cornerstone pretty much having to be his win con, that or Ape, but more than likely Cornerstone. But I like this position for me is absolutely amazing. I just take my kill. I get my little 3-for-1 with Zard. Kill myself. And I go Ogerpon, as he has no good swap in for this. I just pressed U-turn. As you can notice, I haven't tear at all yet because I just don't need to. I probably could have done it at any point, but I wasn't super worried about it. So I just U-turn here, expecting either him to stay in, I break a sturdy, or Corv comes in. Not really a big deal to me both. I don't need health on this anymore. Ivy Cudgel, when he tears, does kill me, so not really like a huge deal. Easily get to go Terapagos here. He is forced to take this flamethrower. I easily 2-ko him because I know he's Fizz Def, and nothing swaps in well. So he's forced to either roost spam against me because I am faster, or he has to make an offensive swap or break my Terra Shell. So I flamethrower, do 53. As you can see, I 2-ko him. He opts to break my Terra Shell, which I think was a good play by him to help set up Cornerstone. I Terra Starstorm here just in case he goes Infernape offensively. He goes Ogerpon offensively. I do a good chunk of damage, break a sturdy. Trailblazes, and I get to shoot off an energy ball, which does a lot but doesn't kill. Just scary. But the big thing is he can't SD, right? So like, yes, he's +1 speed, but we're booster speed Valiant, so which outspeeds everything in this game right now. And I just have to sack this. So I sack Terapagos, so it doesn't have real much usage, and I go into my Valiant. And at this point, Spirit Break has no swapping. The Corv's at 18. Ape takes 8 million, and this thing dies. And I'm faster. So get to press Spirit Break. He's forced to go Infernape. At this point, I don't ever CC here. I never actually looked. The reason I didn't CC was because I lived any move, right? Yeah, CC was a roll to kill. It was only a 31% chance. Literally no need to take that. All I ever have to do is Spirit Break. He, as you guys can see, can't kill me with Flare Blitz. Obviously, he can kill me with Gunk. Actually, he can never kill me with Gunk unless he gets the, like... Okay, he has a very small chance to kill me with Gunk. It can miss, and if it poisons, I guess, and gets a mid-roll, it can kill me. So, yeah, literally no reason ever not to press Spirit Break here. Unless he's, like, Bandit, obviously, that'll kill me, but... he Flame Charges, which... I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. Ogerpon cleans up, but he just Flame Charges, I guess, to show it off. But the game's over. Shows to me he doesn't have Gunk, or at least opted not to press it. I still outspeed, so it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go through this. Yep, Spirit Break, and we clean up. Corv comes in, we Spirit Break, or actually I CC, and end the game. So yeah, pretty great week 2. Definitely some plays I could have made better. Sticking to the plan, dude. I don't know why I didn't lead Ogerpon, and was the entire plan. Probably could have been a lot smoother of a transition, but we played the game the way we needed to do. We played to our outs. I'm really happy with the way, obviously, it turned out. And yeah, performed well. Shout out to my opponent Glimpse. This is perfect, hitting the 15-minute mark, explaining stuff. But yeah, if you guys have anything you would have liked to see the opponent do better, things you would have liked to see me do better, again, feel free to put anything in the comments. An overview, like I said, sticking to the plan. A couple boneheaded mistakes I made there. I think the roost is give or take. I don't think that mattered in the grand scheme of things. I was always trading Zard anyways. Which is why I ran Flare Blitz. So, yeah, great battle. We're 2-0. We're actually at the top of the leaderboard right now. We are number 1. I don't remember the last time I won 2 straight, so I'm super I meant like beginning of the season, but super excited for that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we have a huge battle against one of my really good close friends, Tristan, next week, and some changes coming to the team, so definitely tune in for that. Thank you guys for another good episode of Build and Battle, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.